Relax, look around, and make the call. Pretty simple, right? You won't always make the right decision, but you can always course correct and make the adjustment later. So what do you do when the tanks roll in, the fighter jets are overhead, you can hear the choppers, bullets are flying, and you're under attack? That is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen, right now, and that is how most people feel. I don't know what date this video is getting pushed out at, or this podcast is going live at. Maybe they just all go live at once right now. Maybe we do that. But what do you do? How do you handle it? What type of decisions do you make? I thought it would be cool to share my thought process on how I handled it, how quickly we handled it, and what made me get to that conclusion. So I'll tell you this, we made the decision in less than 24 hours. Now, like everybody else, we understood that there was a virus going on another continent, and we knew that it was a real thing, but we were blinded to it. And I was one of those people. I keep my head out of the media, so I wasn't as engaged until it was about March 11th. Wednesday, March 11th, I believe was the date, when it was starting to become very apparent that there was a real threat and that there would be some serious changes. Now, again, I don't have a lot of the information, so I had to go to a principle that I learned from General Colin Powell in the book Man Up, which is the 40-70 rule. Anything less than 40% of the information, you can't make a really good decision. Anything beyond 70% of the information, and you have too much information and you delayed too long. So I think I was right at about 39.9% of the information of the severity of what was going on. I was watching it. I was talking about it with believable people, meaning people who were in the medical profession. No offense, but if you're a computer programmer, I don't listen to you. If you are a politician, I will not listen to you. If you are a car salesman, I will not listen to you when it comes to medical things. So you have to be listening to believable people. The believable people that I spoke with let me know that it was a real threat. Then I saw the major players like the NBA and some of these other NCAA make their decisions, and they're so big and they're big players, it made my decision a lot easier. I came in here that following day. I told Michelle on Wednesday, I said, Michelle, we got to go load up, make sure we're ready for about 60 to 90 days of being on lockdown, was my thought at the time. Again, that's March 11th. And on Thursday, March 12th, I'm in the office. I come in early, like before we're supposed to get rocking and rolling. Britt's there, Blake, Blair, and I'm sitting there I'm like, we gotta make a decision. I hemmed and hawed, not weeks like some people did. I think I hemmed and hawed for a good 20, 30 minutes. And then I remembered, Britt doesn't make the decision. Blake doesn't make the decision. While I trust their opinions, at the end of the day, for this business, for Top Line, for our gym, where people come in and sweat and breathe and do all sorts of different things, I knew that the decision was mine to make. I could not bury my head in the sand. So I didn't have a lot of information. I didn't know exactly what to do. But I drew on another concept I learned from Leaf Babin and Jocko, if you don't know who they are. Echelon Front wrote Extreme Ownership and several other books. But the two of them were U.S. Navy SEALs. And I learned a concept from them that's very simple, but it's one I'll never forget. Relax, look around, and make the call. Pretty simple, right? You won't always make the right decision, but you can always course correct and make the adjustment later. So we made the decision. 11th is when it got really serious. And by about 5 o'clock on that Thursday, we made the decision. The gym shut down. We told people who were coming in, gym shut down. Hard decision. Some people were pissed. Some people were upset. And as a leader, for myself, and if you're out there and you're a leader, and everybody's a leader. Maybe you're a parent, you're a leader. Maybe you're a teacher, you're a leader. Maybe you're an older brother or sister, you're a leader. So when you're a leader, just remember, you have to make hard decisions. And someone will be pissed at you, and someone else will celebrate you. Now, after I made that decision, based on what I thought was best for my customers, I didn't make it for the business. No business owner says, no one can come in, we can't train you, and you can't come into the gym anymore, and now our business is shut down. No one closes their business because it sounds fun. They do it because there must be some sort of imminent threat that they feel could impact not only myself and my staff, but then also our clientele and customers. So I was making the decision for them, even when maybe they would have kept showing up like they were that night. I had text messages from clients that were in their 70s. I had text messages from clients that were in their 40s and 50s. I had text messages from clients in their 30s. Almost all of them were positive. They reinforced my decision. They supported my decision. Some of them even said things like CS. I won't say his name, but he said, if you need any money, I'm in a position to lend you money, which I didn't need. But to have someone say that, like to have someone be looking out for your small business, because he understood at his age and what he's, how he's thinking. He said, I got your back. I had text messages, I had emails, I had Sarah Greco sent me some grants. It was amazing. I had other clients, typically all the younger clients. I had college athletes, I had high school athletes. Hey, I don't have college anymore, so can I come in there and train? Well, there's a reason you don't have college, bro. I had clients that were in their 20s, mid-20s. Their immediate reaction was, well, if you're closing the gym, we're bombing it out. And I expect that. So that didn't catch me by surprise. I took no offense to that. That's the stuff that's going to come in. But I couldn't look at this situation selfishly. If I looked at the situation selfishly, all about me, I'd had everyone keep coming in here, keep running the business, keep the payroll running. Unfortunately, you got to relax. You got to look around. You got to make the call. And you don't make calls selfishly when you're a leader. You make calls that are going to affect the team in a good way. And why is it up here? Why are these things up here? Now, this is hard. This is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do in life, I think. One of the hardest things. When you're at a tough fork in the road, how do you make the call? How do you make the decision? You have to be calm. You have to be objective, meaning you have to look at the situation, not for your own selfish, arrogant thinking or what benefits you best. You have to look at it objectively. How can I get better? And if you can't look at yourself or situations objectively, you are very misguided and you'll probably never achieve much success. So that's important. Then you have to be analytical, and you only get through things analytically. And maybe you don't have time for that even sometimes, but what's believable? In this situation, everybody had an understanding of what's believable, right? If you're listening to the news and you're listening to a Fox 6 anchor telling you about what's right and what's wrong, you're screwed. You're screwed. You'll never make it. If you're listening to I'm talking to doctors. I'm talking to clients that are doctors and nurses, and they're on medical teams, and they're telling me one thing. And then you've got nitwits that are, computer programmers and accountants. I'm like, I just can't listen to you guys. You're just not believable. So be analytical. The next thing is you have to be strategic. I knew that it was going to be a bad situation. My gut told me, I'm 33. I haven't experienced all of history, but I study history. My gut told me that because the action wasn't being taken immediately from the government, because remember, there's no government shutdowns at this point. This is prior to that. You could still go to the grocery store and load up on toilet paper and hand sanitizer at this point too. So we made the decision rather quickly. You had to be strategic about what was going to come in from it. So expecting that, you have to be decisive. Obviously, you're going to end up having to make a decision, and you have to be unemotional about it. Emotionally, of course I was affected emotionally. Of course, after I made the decision, I felt the effects and the weight of that, the pressure. But that's pressure. when you're making the decision, it has to be unemotional. It has to be based off of an objective, calm, analytical thought process. And that's what everyone needs, whether you're an entrepreneur, or whether you're just a regular person working at a regular job in life. You're going to approach situations with your team. You're going to approach situations with your wife, your kids, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and it's going to be an ugly situation. And what you need to do, I mean, you know, when you approach things and you're all emotional and you're irrational and you're saying things and you're on the defensive and everything's an attack, so you're ready to fight or flight. Nothing good ever comes from that. So take a step back, remain calm, think about the situation. Look at it like you're in a helicopter flying over it, or even further back, you're in an airplane, or even further back from that in a macro level, you're in a satellite looking down on the world and trying to think from a higher level. That's what will improve your decision-making skills. The last thing that I had to do, and I'll reference Bishop T.D. Jakes, who I consider one of my spiritual mentors in life, even though I've never met the man. Bishop's helped me in more ways than I could imagine. So if you give him a follow on Instagram or on his YouTube channel, and maybe you're familiar with faith or maybe you're not, I highly suggest that you give him the follow. He'll definitely help your life out from a kind of a fatherly mentor position. But here's what Bishop T.D. Jakes says when you approach a hard situation, or when you approach a situation where maybe you messed up, or maybe you're having to do something that you know people won't like, kind of like I had to do. You say 3 things. Here's what happened. Here's what we're going to do about it. And we're sorry about it. And you do it clearly. You communicate it clearly. You make sure people have an opportunity. Like, again, we sent out a message saying exactly that. Here's what happened. Here's what we're going to do about it. Here's what your options are, like with our gym memberships. Some people are in a financial situation where paying is not a problem, and that's great. But I also understand that not everyone's in that situation. So we said, hey, you can keep a 50% rate. You can keep it full. You can do a 50%, or if you need to freeze it and pause it right now. The last thing I want you to do is be worried about money when you should be worried about your health, and you should be worried about other people's health. I'm confident that we'll be able to get back rolling. I'm not really worried about that, but I am worried about other people worrying, because I know that that's what goes on. Maybe they weren't prepared. Maybe they're caught off guard. Maybe they had just had to borrow someone money and now they don't have anything. Or maybe they splurged on something that they shouldn't have purchased. Or maybe they went to the beach every Sunday to Bradford, and maybe they went to every ball game, and maybe they traveled to see this person and went on vacation, and maybe they just spent their money terribly. Got to keep it real on this show. I said I was going to keep it real. Got to keep it real. Maybe you pissed your money away. And maybe you're in a bad situation. Well, I don't want to add to that. However, you should look yourself in the mirror and realize maybe you were spending the last 6 or 7 years of one of the best economic markets that we've ever experienced. Maybe you were spending that not thinking about the downside and the winter that always follows fall and always follows summer and always comes after spring, summer, and fall. You have to be prepared for it. Jim Rohn would tell you that one. And that's what we did. We communicated clearly. And to be honest, communicating clearly is my big thing. On one of my other videos, I said what my one big, figure out what your one big thing is that you need to change. And communicating clearly is my big thing. Because I like to do what I need to do. I know I can do what I need to do. I'm like, I got it. I'm going to do what I need to do. But communicating clearly, maybe to staff and to customers or family or whoever, Michelle, maybe it's my girlfriend. Sometimes I don't communicate certain things because I'm focused. I'm an introvert, extrovert. So sometimes I only have so much extrovert to give you in communication, and then I need to be by myself and execute. And it's hard to be that way, but that's my one big thing. And I knew in this situation it was a big test for me. Will you step up to the plate, or will you put your head in the sand? And as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a man, I believe this is a man thing. So men out there, if you have a big problem you're facing, if you have a bad habit that you need to confront, if you have an area of your life that is holding you back from becoming the man that you need to be, that you know you could be, that you know you have the genetic makeup and the mental capacity to be, I think that you need to approach that situation head on. Maybe you don't have all the facts. Maybe you only have 40% of the information, 50% of the information. But you need to relax. You need to look around. You need to make the call. You need to see things objectively, analyze them, and then you need to be very strategic and decisive about the decisions you want to make to improve your life. All men need this, you included, me included. We're in this together. I'm here to help you out. So if you need any help as a man, I mean, women obviously can lead you as well, but I know a little bit about men because I am one. So I know where we struggle. I know where we fall short. I know that our egos get in our way. I know that our pride gets in our way. I know that when we have weakness, we want to bury it. I know that when we have a tough decision to make, a lot of times we feel crippled by it. And I know that when you're surrounded by other strong men who are also approaching all of those same things that you are, that it's a lot easier to pull the trigger when you know someone else is going through the same weight and they have the same weight load and they have the same pressures that you do. So I want to be that guy for you. So if you need me, you hit me up. Be more than happy to lend a response to a question you might have. Be more than happy to give you a little strategic advice based on something I've went through. I can't really tell you about things I haven't, but I think you could go talk to believable people who do. If you've got training questions, I can help you. If you've got leadership questions, I could probably help you. But remember, I have leaders too. So we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, and we're here to help each other, and that's what this podcast is all about. So I hope this one helped you guys out. I hope that these few simple things, few words, the words have a lot of meaning, and when you approach a tough situation, I hope that they guide you and encourage you and help you make 2020 the best year of your life. And if you're watching this in some other year, I hope it helps you as well then, because it's timeless information. So have an awesome day. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.